have a nail, and I have a small little earring I found the other day. And I'm going to test it on the Deus, the Equinox, and the Simplex, all with 11-inch coils on them. And I'm also going to test a 5-inch deep nickel and a 6-inch deep quarter and a bunch of iron, right? I'll try the Equinox first. Start out in Park 1, multi-frequency, right? Oops, went too far. I have to turn on the light here. Right there. Too bright. Park 1. Be nice. Right there. Park 1. Not hitting that. I'll take the iron out. I'll show you. It's there. I'll actually flip that earring over so you can see it right there, because it's painted on the back side there. Right. Gain 20. Right. Not going to be able to hit that target in Park 1. I can go to Park 2. I'll turn my iron on. Watch. Not going to be able to hit it. Right. Too small of a target. Too low of frequencies. Now I'll go to Park 2 here. It hits it pretty good, right? It's not pulsing on the iron there. Well, I'll turn the iron off, right? It's not pulsing on that nail. Right there. It's hitting it pretty good. Now I'll come over to this, because I want to hit all 3 of these targets, right? In the same mode, right? With the same settings. I want to hit that jewelry on the surface next to the iron, and I also want to hit this nickel and that quarter all in the same settings, right? So you can go deep and shallow all the same with the same settings, right? I want to find that fine medium, dial the detector in so I'm hitting deeper targets and shallower targets in the iron. There's a lot of iron here, right? Park 2, right? Pulsing quite a bit on the iron there, right? Come on, this nickel. There's a nickel right, this little red dot right there. It's been there for about a year. Nickel at 5 inches deep right there. Hitting it really good. Really jumpy tones. I'll turn the iron on here. Now I'll come over this quarter here. This quarter is at 6 inches deep right here. A lot of iron, right? Turn the iron off. Right. Not doing it. Right, not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing all 3 of those targets, right? And I can make a lot of adjustments, but I don't want to have to make too many adjustments when I'm out in the field. I just want to put it in one mode. If I'm going for like the first 6 inches depth, I want to freaking have that in one setting, and I want that detector to perform very well. I want it to hit on the targets in the iron, right? Now I'll come over here with the Deus. It's starting to get dark, so I don't even know if this video is going to turn out. But this is the reason why I don't like big coils, because once you hit the sweet spot, right, the hot spot out in the field, like in a park or in a ball field, and you hit the iron, you got a big coil and you're just going to struggle, right? And I struggle with big coils anyway because I have hot soil. The more EMI there is, like this right here, right? It's giving me high tones right off the bat, right? I have a big coil on here. I usually don't use this big coil because it just doesn't perform very well in my soil. I'm also in deep mode too. Deep program is just 2-tone program. I'll go in hot program right here, right? Move this Equinox out of the way here, all right? Not hitting it, right? Not hitting that because it's too low of frequencies. The Equinox is struggling in the lower frequency too. In Park 1 it was struggling. That's why I didn't continue with that those other targets. And even in Park 1, that Equinox will not hit that 6-inch deep quarter, right? And I'll change my frequency here, right? I'm in 17 kilohertz right now. And I'll raise my frequency to try to hit this hot program. Or on the surface, right? Barely hitting it. Barely hitting it. Now I'll just go to Deus fast here, right? Deus fast stock program. It's hitting it, but it's going to false on all the other iron here, right? Right, a lot of iron here, just falsing on all the iron. Struggling on that target there, even in Deus fast. It's only a 5-inch deep nickel right there. It's struggling in the iron because I have hot soil and there's a lot of iron around there, a lot of nails. Now I'll come over this quarter here. Half the ground balance here. Half the ground balance this machine, right? Not gonna hit it, right? Because I'm discriminated out too. I'm discriminated. So if there's iron near the surface and I'm discriminated, if I discriminate the iron out, that iron is also discriminating out those deeper targets that are non-ferrous, right? And so I can go back over the hot program here. Ground balance here. Go down on my ground balance here to 85. It's just barely hitting. I mean, I would just actually just skip that up. Even if I was iron, I would skip that target up there. Right, just not able to hit it, right? I can go in a deep program here, but it just go crazy berserk, right? It just falls on all the iron here. Go back down. Deep program, you're gonna false on all the iron. See, watch. See, it's gonna false on all the iron. I don't know what's iron, what's non-ferrous. Now I'll come over to Simplex here, and I'll tell you. If I can get this button pushed there. The Simplex does this every time I test it, man. Just spanks their ass. I've been testing for quite a few hours out here in my backyard. And a lot of scenarios, you know, with iron and the coins and the jewelry and stuff. And the Simplex just seems to do it. It seems to get it done, even out in the field. You know, when you get around a lot of EMI, that changes. You know, you get around a lot of nails, the Simplex is going to struggle because you can't discriminate, right? The more you discriminate on when you're around iron, the more you're going to miss, right? The more non-ferrous targets you're going to miss. Especially those smaller targets that may be on their edge or right next to iron. If you discriminate out iron, you are going to have some problems hitting those lower conductive targets, and even those higher conductive targets when you're around iron. With any machine, once you start discriminating, you're just going to once you start putting a notch or a filter or discriminate out iron, you're going to be missing a lot of stuff. And it's amazing how much stuff you miss when you discriminate, right? And I'll show you the Simplex here, how well it performs. You know, just at one setting. I don't have to adjust any frequencies. I don't have to change my coils. But it is a noisy machine. I'm telling you, it's a noisy machine. But it just seems to hit on stuff a lot better, right? I'll go with this target right here. Struggling a little bit going this way. My iron's at 2, right? Park 2 here, right? It's gonna false on this iron, right? There's that 5-inch deep nickel right there. Clear as day, right? Sure, I'm getting a lot of irons and a lot of broken tones there because it's a 3-tone machine. Just like when I had it in Deus Deep and Deus Fast, it was a lot of broken tones. But the Simplex just seems to hit all these targets really good, right? Now I'll come over to the same target, just in Park 2, right? Very, very noisy machine. I understand that. But it seems to just quiet down once it hits over target, right? '60s, '70s, '80s, right? I don't really look at the numbers, especially when you're an iron. Once you start looking at your detector, the more you look at your detector, the less targets you're going to get out of the ground. It's just a proven fact, right? I show up my videos a lot. I've been getting a lot more targets out of the ground since I haven't been looking at my detector. I mean, I've been pretty much not looking at my detector ever since I used the Deus, but with the Simplex, it just seems to hit on these targets, man. It just seems to spank my other detector's ass for some reason. Even though it's a three-tone machine, you know, you can put it in field mode, which is like a modulated tone. You know, I don't want to get up into all the details about modulated tones and everything, but you have to discriminate when you're in modulated tone. So you're going to be missing out on those non-ferrous targets in the iron, right? But the Simplex just seems to hit it. It can go shallow and it can go deep all at the same time, right? At full gain, no matter what mode you're in, right? With the other machines, you have to make a lot of adjustments, like frequencies and modes, and just a lot of pushing buttons on the higher end machines. Once this Note to Lightning comes out, I believe a lot of these other detectors are going to have a lot of competition, man. I'm just telling you, man. You know, if we can get a multi-tone machine, you know, not just a three-tone machine with a Note to Lightning, that would be freaking awesome. You know, having to adjust the tones and tone breaks and all that stuff on the Deus and the Equinox, not really necessary to adjust all your tones and stuff. You kind of mess it up if you want to adjust your tones and your frequency, or your tones and your tone pitches and your tone breaks. But it does help a little bit with machines if you can adjust your tone breaks and your tones. Everybody has different ears, and some sites, the nickels will read up high, some days they'll read up low. Some coils, if you put a different coil on, it's going to just alter your tones a lot, and messes up your tone breaks. So if you can adjust that stuff, but being able to hear the iron at the same time, you know, I want to hear the iron at the same time I want to hear those higher conducted targets. With the Equinox, that's just not possible, right? It wants to jump all up and down that range of tones, and it's hard to pinpoint that target. You don't know if it's that mid conductor that's in there, or if it's a higher conductor, or if it's falsing on iron. With the Simplex, the same thing. You know, you get those high tones on the falsing iron, but once you swing over the target with the Simplex, you know, all that junk, all those junk sounds go away, and all you get is that good sounding target. With the Deus, the same thing. You know, the Deus seems like you're getting all that information all in one tone, right? It's not having to jump between tone breaks and all those tone breaks in the full tones, if you have it in full tones program. But the Deus is not really a deep machine. You know, you saw that struggle right there. The Deus won't hit that quarter, right? No matter what coil I have on it. Even if I had the bigger coil on there, I would still struggle. The bigger coil than this 11-inch coil, because my soil's hot, right? And I'm in a lot of iron. And once you get out that spot out in the middle field where all the iron is at, I don't want to have to change coils. I don't want to have to go all the way back to my truck or carry a spare coil with me when I'm hunting. You know, I want a setup that's going to do everything. And the Simplex, this big coil, can really get through a lot more iron than you think. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.